Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the third and final race of the evening. It is time for some Tier 2 action here at Aussie Formula Racing. My name is Mikhail, and we are just 3 rounds away from the season finale in Abu Dhabi. But it's the backyard track for this, tonight's affair, and it is the Albert Park Street Circuit. The 5.3 kilometers, the 16 turns, the 3 DRS zones, and if it's anything like the 2 races that we've already seen here tonight, a lot of retirements and a lot of time under that full course caution, of course, the safety car. Just waiting for the last couple of drivers to head into the lobby. Unfortunately, no Seb with me for tonight's broadcast. It's very, very sad indeed. But hopefully I'm entertaining as enough on my own as is. So, only a handful of rounds left to go. Currently 18 drivers in the lobby. I'll give you guys a quick update on the standings, just how things stand at the moment. So Pepsi is in the lead of the drivers' standings with 336 points, securing a third place finish in Sao Paulo last time. Now, Endocat in second still with 294 points. Still a mathematical shot at winning the title, but he needs a lot of things to go his way. Some 40 odd points, 42 points to be exact, off of Apollo Pepsi. Third place, a long way back, almost 100 points back, is Bandcamp, and Psycho rounds out your top 4 in the driver's standings with 196 and 164 points respectively. Wingman is in 5th with 136, 2 points in it between himself and his teammate Quantum Effect in the Red Bulls, and Combat Rat only a further 2 points behind them in 7th place. Mika, Saxa, Decelerate, and Skins round out the top 11. With that close midfield fight, Saxa and Decelerate tied on 66 points, as is Skins and Mr. Spicer in 12th tied on 60. And we're just about ready to get things underway. We're loading into the session right now, so I absolutely cannot wait to see what these drivers have to offer us. So just give me a sec to get everything set up and good to go. Hopefully everything there is now working. Just let me know in the chat if it isn't for whatever reason. We're just loading in to the qualifying session now. So if you're just new and joining us, welcome to Aussie Formula Racing. This is the third race of the evening, the Tier 2 guys, as they tackle the Albert Park Street Circuit, the old configuration, of course, that configuration that was used between, I believe, 1996 since its inauguration, and, of course, until 2019, which was the last time that Australia hosted a Formula 1 World Championship race. Just like the other 2 grids beforehand, 18 drivers on this field. 2 unlucky cars, or 2 unlucky teams that are missing. Just a quick scan through. It looks like it's actually both of the Red Bulls. So no Red Bulls at all on this grid. Both Wingman and Quantum Effect unable to be in attendance. And we have a few cars coming out on the track already. So 18 minutes, now 17 minutes to set the best time that all these drivers can. And no stranger is, of course, Apollo Pepsi coming out of the garage. Nice and early indeed. The number 28 Ferrari looking to potentially win this title here today. Ando needs to finish, I think, a 9th or so, and Pepsi win the race to solidify the Ferrari as the champion of the Tier 2 division for season number 7. So, quick rundown on who we are actually seeing on this grid. We have Vassar and Defiant. Defiant stepping in over at Alfa Romeo. We have Dalek and Keeper at Mercedes today. Of course, Borley and the driver are currently on board with Apollo Pepsi. For Ferrari, we have Nemo and Mr. Spicer, 2 familiar faces over at Alpine. We have Skins and Combat Rat, the 2 brothers over at Williams. Mika and Anacat both in attendance today. which is what you love to see. We have the two Haas's of Kalios and King J both here in attendance, as well as the two McLarens, Bandcamp and Nut, as well as Saxa and Psycho for AlphaTauri. As Pepsi starts the first flying lap of the session, heading down into turn 1, braking around that 65-meter mark. You really want to attack the apex as much as you can. Use the AstroTurf at the exit of turn 2 before you have another long run down to the hard and tricky braking zone of turn 3. Cambers away from you in this configuration, and then turn 4 as you come through the car park, and turn 5 this flat out right-hander, which can get very sketchy once you put some fuel into the car. Turn 6, 7 and 8 now all sort of blending together as one sequence of corners before you come to the newly removed chicane of turns 9 and 10. And as you can see there, Pepsi struggling on traction out of that final, or out of turn 10, facing the wrong way. So that is King J, who will continue the lap through the very fast chicane of turns 11 and 12. Has always caused issues for drivers, both in real life and here in the virtual space as well. Lots of retirements and lots of issues in both of the races so far here tonight. King J, as he makes his way through the third and final sector, you come to the penultimate corner, turn 15, the slowest corner on the entire track, before you slingshot out and just hope that your front left and rear left tires hold on through that final corner, turn 16. It's a 122.4 to start us off here in qualifying for the Tier 2 grid. It's Boulia coming across the line to start a lap. Pepsi, a 39.4 after his little mishap. We have Saxa all the way up into P2 as Psycho goes to the top of the timing sheet, a 122.2, immediately beaten by Kalios by about 700ths of a second. Respawn Potato, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you enjoyed the show, and thank you for supporting us here at Aussie Formula Racing. And Kransny01 as well with the follow. Thank you so much. Vassar on 22.6 puts himself in 6th place as Nemo about to start his first flying lap attempt. With just under 13.5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Now, we saw a lot of drivers struggling with the track limits during Tier 1's qualifying session, and a lot of hesitation as well, because it's a very fast, high-speed street circuit where you need to be on it and just have so much confidence in the car that you'll know how the car's going to react to your inputs. And at a street circuit, it normally can be quite slippery because, of course, very limited running throughout the year from other categories. There isn't as much rubber being laid down into the tarmac. Doesn't seem to be phasing Nemo though, the Clownfish making his way towards turns 9 and 10. A purple first sector, if the track map is to be believed, as we have a yellow flag at turn 4. That's one of the Alfa Romeos. Not entirely sure which one it would be. My guess is that it would be Vasa. I always could be wrong. Nemo navigating that fast chicane of turns 11 and 12. Very nicely indeed into the right-hander of 13. That also cambers away from you, but will be cambered inwards from 2022 onwards. Just increasing the minimum speed there and opening up the corners as well. But through the final corner goes the Alpine. DRS wide open towards the timing line. What's the time going to be? It's going to be a 122.781 for the Alpine. So very nicely done indeed. Let's have a look at the Alfa Romeo of Defiant, who's actually playing in the gravel. Not something you want to be seeing very often, but just staying well and truly clear of both the Alpine of Mr. Spicer and the AlphaTauri of Saxa as they make their way around the track on out and in laps respectively. Endocat just coming by in that Aston Martin. He's on an out lap as well, yet to set a time in this session. Pepsi still with that 123.1 that he was able to improve to on his second attempt at a medium flying lap. The delta between the mediums and softs, ladies and gentlemen, about 1.1 seconds around the Albert Park Street circuit. So a lot of time to be gained. That would actually put Pepsi right up there with Kalios and Psycho in that top 3. But we'll see how Andrecat tackles this track. And he needs everything to go his way if he wants to keep his championship hopes alive. And it starts with absolutely nailing this first corner. And he's done pretty well, keeps the rear in check. Which is what you absolutely love to see. Coming down towards turn 3 now, braking just after the black box on the left-hand side. Fourth gear. Oh, and he loses the rear coming out of turn 3. And that is a very common error that we see. And he actually runs wide at the exit of turn 5, and that is going to be another invalidated run, I dare say. So with 10 minutes on the clock, he has enough time to come back into the pit to get 2 more shots at it. But he really needs a good qualifying position here tonight, because overtaking is very, very difficult to do. We saw some of the risks that the drivers were taking in the 2 races prior. And they can sometimes end up in tears like it did for so many. I think this is actually one of the highest attrition rates in AFR history throughout the 2 grids so far tonight. Dalek, first driver into the 1 minute 21s at 121.6. A whole 5.5 tenths faster than Kalios from his banker run. Combat Rat coming through the final couple of corners now in his lovely Williams car. Of course, Williams, one of the next cars to reveal their livery and 2022 car after AlphaTauri this Valentine's Day. So very keen to see that. It's Combat Rat just diving off into the pit lane. Nut is currently on a flying lap going through the top of the lake. This left-hander that's not actually classified as a corner, but this certainly is. Turns 11 and 12. This fast chicane, that car looks very stable indeed. And we'll see how much confidence Nut has coming into the final part of the track. Seems pretty good to me. There is a Haas trailing very closely behind him. But I do believe that is King J, who is also on a flying lap. So both these guys on flying laps. You don't normally see drivers wanting a slipstream around Albert Park. As Nut goes into 13th and King J goes up into 5th. With a 23.6 and a 22.4 respectively. Keeper improves to a 24.8, but unfortunately will stay slowest of the drivers who have currently set lap times. So trying to see what tyres the drivers have fitted, and it is a Bandcamp, the other McLaren, this time at the top of the lake. Cloaky Boy, 49, thank you so much for the follow. It's Andrecat on 21.647. Not even 100th of a second, ladies and gentlemen, between our 2 at the front. So things is definitely shaping up to be quite the spectacle as Bandcamp, the Dragon himself, making his way into the penultimate corner now. Has often struggled here at the Albert Park Street Circuit in seasons gone by. Not the best one-lap pace either for the McLaren, but it's still good enough for 11th place at the moment. A 122.809 as right behind him Mika in the second Aston Martin improves to 4th. So very nice effort from him, trying to support his teammate, who, might I remind you, Aston Martin and Ferrari still quite close together in that Constructors fight for the Tier 2 Constructors Championship. As well as Aston Martin being quite close with AlphaTauri in the combined Constructors, where we combine the points from Tiers 3, 2 and 1 into one single Constructors Championship. They are fighting for 3rd in that race. One of the few reserves on this grid. It is Defiant in Alfa Romeo as Pepsi, 121.4 for the championship leader. But Defiant going through turn 14 now, not using the AstroTurf on the exit, but keeping it well and truly within the track limits. Is kind of what you need on a banker run, but that certainly isn't. As he loses the rear coming out of that final corner, the rear's giving way and it's going to cost him a lot of time. Only 16th for the Alfa Romeo, a 124.0, some 4 tenths off of Nut, his nearest competitor. Which means it's only one driver without a lap time so far, and that is the driver on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. It is Combat Rat for Williams. coming through turns 7, 8, and heading towards turn 9 at the moment. So as the clock continues to tick down, just under 6 minutes remaining in the session, Pepsi is your provisional pole sitter with a 121.429. About 1.2 seconds off of Fever's pole time from Tier 1 just a few moments ago. And I believe pole in Tier 3 was also a 21 flat from Zay, if memory serves. Just Defiant getting out of the way of the Williams as much as he can. That actually might be Vassar. Either or, one of the Alfa Romeos hopefully didn't distract Combat Rat too much as he moves up into 10th place. 300s between himself and his teammate. 122.5 as... Who was that? That was... well, that was his teammate. Improving to a 121.8, slingshotting himself up into 4th place at the moment. So, great effort from the Williams driver. Of course, they're in a close fight with Red Bull in that Combined Constructors Championship, but no Red Bulls on this grid today. So a big opportunity for the two brothers to secure some well-needed points in that title fight. Trying to make it 2 Combined Constructors Championships to date for Team Williams. Be the first constructor to do so since its inauguration back in AFR Season 3, which is a whole whopping 2 years ago now. My goodness, have things changed since then. But some things never change, and that is drivers going around the track really, really quickly, and some drivers going around a little less quickly. Defiant, he's hoping to go a little bit quicker than he did last time around. He's currently sitting in 14th place. But looks like he's actually turned on the ERS charge light. So he will be probably just diving right back into the pit lane. And with just over 3.5 minutes remaining, it's really getting towards crunch time for all of these drivers on this grid. Ali, howdy. Glad you could join us in the chat. Sad there are no Red Bulls for you to support in this lobby. Both Wingman and Conflict unable to be here. And that's going to really hurt you guys in the Combined Constructors Championship. But enough about that. It is Andocat who is currently on what will be his final run in qualifying. 600s he's up, going through the first sector split, and he needs a little bit more if he wants to start this race from pole position. Of course, pole, you get that outside line going into turn 1, can carry a little bit more speed as opposed to being pinched on the apex of turn 1, and then you're going to have a terrible run towards turn 3. But a purple middle sector for the Aston Martin, nearly up 0.3 of a second, and keeps it well and truly in bounds through the fast chicane of turns 11 and 12. Now turn 13, right on the edge of grip. How much tyre life does the Aston Martin have? A little bit of understeer mid-corner through turn 14. Not ideal. But we'll see as he winds up the car through this final corner. And then it's just a sprint to the timing line. And you just hope and pray that he's done enough. And he has for the time being a 121.213. That is provisional pole position for the Aston Martin. A couple of drivers now also on flying laps at the moment. I think Keeper has just made his way through the fast chicane. He's currently on, looks like he might have just wanting to be going again. But lots of drivers out there on outlaps at the moment. Oh, thanks for the kind words, Ali. Yep. As you know, I just lost the title to Potsy in that last Tier 1 race. So Potsy is now a 2-time AFR Tier 1 champion, and rightfully so. He drove absolutely phenomenally all season. Just needs to work on his one-lap pace a little bit. And speaking of, that's Keeper getting all out of shape at turns 1 and 2. Now, interesting fact, unless I'm going to probably jinx it now for the remaining couple of races, but Potsy, our latest Tier 1 champion, He has won this championship without gaining a single pole position. I think he's had 2 front row starts from memory, but he has never qualified on pole position this season so far. So really is a testament to his racecraft and consistency. Of course, thoroughly deserving that title. So that's the first of the 3 drivers' titles sorted. Seb looking like he's in a pretty good spot to take the crown in Tier 3, but that isn't all confirmed yet with Crush's solid result a couple of hours ago. And here, Apollo Pepsi and Ocat, the closest gap out of the 3 grids, still yet to be determined. Mika marginally improves to a 1:22.026 as Apollo Pepsi takes provisional pole with a 1:21.071, almost matching the pole time in Tier 3. So a very nice lap from him as the checkered flag now drops, and it will be a keeper just starting a lap as Pepsi getting well and truly out of the way for all the cars coming through. And there is 2 retirements right now. So that is Kalios off at the exit of turn 5, and a retirement on track for Skins as his teammate Combat Rat goes up into 5th place. Psycho in 3rd place for the Alpha Tauri. Next across the line will be Vasa. No, it won't. It will be Defiant, the other Alfa Romeo, but he improves by half a tenth. Finds him 1 grid slot, a 1:22.7. Next across the line was King J. He slots himself into 10th. And then it's the 2 McLarens of Bandcamp and Nut, both on pretty fast laps. Band, 11th place, 1:22.134. And Nut retiring there in the pit lane. Only a couple more drivers left. Bully in that 2nd Ferrari, making his way through the last couple of corners now. He's got a very fast Vasa right behind him, also on a flying lap. This is their last chance, ladies and gentlemen, to make improvements. A little bit out of shape for Vasa and the Alfa Romeo behind this Ferrari. They both come across the line and both don't improve. So perhaps maybe getting in each other's way. A little bit too eager off the start. Maybe. But it is this man, Apollo Pepsi, on pole position. And it's his championship rival who lines up right alongside him. Psycho continuing his strong qualifying performance with a 3rd place. And it is Skins for Williams in 4th, if my short-term memory serves me right. So here's confirmation of the results then. Sorry, Dalek, it was actually you who filled out the 2nd row. But Apollo Pepsi and Ocat, the 2 championship contenders on that front row once again, with Psycho and Dalek 3rd and 4th. Combat Rat in 5th, lining up right next to his teammate and brother Skins. Kalios in 7th, Nemo in 8th, Mika in 9th, and King J for Haas rounds out the top 10, with the back 8 being Bandcamp, Vassar, Mr. Spicer, Defiant, Nut, Saxa, Bully, and Keeper in that order, with 1 second covering just about the top 11. Be an interesting race to watch indeed, Ali. Very interesting. Of course, the gap right now is 42 points between Ando-Cat and Pepsi, with Pepsi being having the advantage. But Ando did win last week out in Brazil, and he has shown that he has a lot of pace, but does he have enough pace and the consistency to really take it to the Ferrari in this 29 lap campaign? Because we've seen a lot of speed crash out so far tonight. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, because this race, the track, very, very slippery, and the moment that you decide to push just that little bit too hard, push the car slightly over the edge, that's when you find yourself into barrier. DCRS Rose, hello, welcome to Aussie Formula Racing. Hope you're enjoying the show. You're just in time for the formation lap. 18 cars on this grid. Riley as well. Hello. So, predicted pit stop strategy on your screen now is soft to hard, but I can say from personal experience it will be a soft to medium fairly comfortably, but around the same pit window as well. So, Apollo Pepsi the championship leader on pole position, out-qualifying Andrew Cat by around 0.2 of a second. Good morning from the UK. Hello, I hope you slept well and are up nice, bright and early for this Sunday morning race. So our front two separated by about 0.2. Psycho and Dalek on the second row with the two Williams on that third row. Kalios and Nemo 7th and 8th respectively, with Mika and King J 9th and 10th. We'll get some information about the tyres for our back 8. All of them, except for Saxa and that AlphaTauri starting 16th, have opted to start on the red striped soft compound tyres. So hoping maybe that there will be an early safety car around that lap 5, lap 6 mark, when the mediums really start to come into their own and the softs lose basically all the grip they have left to offer. But we'll see if Saxa has made the correct call. So your back 8 is Bandcamp, aka the Dragon. Vassar in 12th position. Mr. Spicer for Alpine lines up 13th alongside Defiant D's, reserving in that Alfa Romeo seat. Nut for McLaren is in 15th. Saxa, the only medium starter, in 16th, with Bully and Keeper in Ferrari and Mercedes, taking out the 9th and final row on this grid, this race, ladies and gentlemen. So, 29 grueling laps ahead of every single driver on this grid. Leave your predictions in the chat. Does Apollo Pepsi have what it takes to convert this pole position into a win? Will it be Anocat? Will it be Psycho? Will it be someone completely different outside of the top 10? Who is your dark horse in the chat? I am keen to see who you pick. I definitely say that you can't discount any of the two Williams guys. Rogue Wolf, Psycho gonna win. That would make me a very happy man as an AlphaTauri driver myself. We'll see if he has what it takes off of the start line. But here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Australia. For the third last time, it is lights out and away they go. Looks like a pretty decent start from Andocat. Pepsi having to push him all the way to the inside, and Andocat has made the jump as the two title rivals going side by side through the first two corners. They are still going these yellow flags, these absolute calamities right behind them as Dalek has fallen to the back of this field, as has Psycho as well, getting caught up into that as well. But the two title contenders still going side by side as Psycho, 5-second time penalty for a severe collision with the Clownfish of Nemo and the Alpine, but it is Pepsi retaking the lead of this race ahead of Andocat after a brilliant start from the Aston Martin, but just can't quite keep it in front on this occasion. The two Williams guys, 3rd and 4th, really profiting off of the dramas, off of the start of things. Mika in 5th place, up a couple of positions as well, but your biggest winners are all those drivers up 6th place at the moment. That's the two Alfa Romeos, as well as Nut and Saxa, with Mr. Spicer up 2 and Bully up 5. So not looking great for Psycho, Nemo, Kalios, Dalek as well, getting caught up in that very tight sequence of turns 1 and 2 off the start. Heavy fuel in these cars. They are very, very hard to control when they have a lot of weight in the back of them. Jumping a little bit further down this field now, we'll have a look at the battle between Bandcamp, Defiant and Nut as well. All these guys making quite a few positions off the side of things. Apollo Pepsi leads them away, almost breaking that 1 second DRS gap that he needs, showing the dominance and that Ferrari power that he has strapped in here in Albert Park. Keeper makes the move as we have a couple of drivers, or a trio of drivers, into the pit lane. King J, Kalios, the Haas is needing to double stack, as well as Psycho, who got tangled up in that first corner incident as well. But it looks like Bandcamp, the Dragon, starting to put Vassar under a lot of pressure at the moment. The gap sitting around that 3.5 mark. Can the experienced cool head of Bandcamp make his way through and make it 5 positions gained in the opening 2 laps? Looks like Alfa Romeo and McLaren having a really, really nice duel at the moment. Both cars in the fight for both constructors, and it is a scrap to the end. So you see the cars flying through the fast chicane of turns 11 and 12. as they are right on the edge of grip. And the yellow flag, that's one of the Alfa Romeos. That is Defiant, who has lost it at the exit of turn 12, and he is going really, really slowly. I think that's, my suspicions are correct. That is a broken, well, there's no front wing on that Alfa Romeo at the moment. There's a yellow flag as well. This time it's Kalios, this time at turn 5 and turn 6. Apollo Pepsi, 25-1. Setting the pace as DRS gets enabled for the start of lap 3, but very unfortunate for Defiant as he is in a reserve capacity for the Alfa Romeo team this evening. And into the pit lane he goes for a new change of nose. So that has, in essence, released Bandcamp. No pressure from behind whatsoever, so he can have all his attention focused on the second Alfa Romeo right in front of him. And only about 2.5 tenths, now 1.5 tenths, as he is so close. You can see how close that front wing is getting to the diffuser of that Alfa Romeo. Will jump on board with the McLaren driver as he is really trying to put this Alfa Romeo under as much pressure as he physically can, without losing it himself, of course. Mr. Spicer as well, getting very close to the back of Saxa in that fight for 9th place. We're just watching how Bandcamp, the dragon himself, tries to navigate this very fast chicane of turns 11 and 12. And you can just see how tentative these guys are as the tyres just don't quite have the purchase on the tarmac to provide the grip that they need in those high load situations. We'll actually jump back a little bit further now as Bully trying to go around the outside of Saxter. It's 2x2 for these guys. This is the fight for 9th place at the moment. Mr. Spicer losing out a little bit. He was putting Psycho on a bit of pressure, but now losing out to both Bully and Dalek as well. But Saxa keeps that 9th place for the time being, but Bully now up 7 places. All these guys up 7 places at the moment. It's Bandcamp finally makes his way past Vassar into the first braking zone, but with DRS assistance, the Ferrari going to the inside. The 2 Italian cars going side by side. Saxa just able to squeeze ahead. Psycho having issues there in the middle sector. That's what the yellow flags are for temporarily. But it looks like Saxa will be able to hold off. But does Dalek have it clean around the outside? He has a look on the Ferrari. Bully shoves it a little bit wide at the exit of turn 3. But the Ferrari stays within the track limits there. Split second media, thank you so much for the raid party of 2. Hope you are having a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever in the world you may be joining us. This is Aussie Formula Racing, and it's lap 4 of 29 for the third last round of AFR season number 7. Dalek now putting Bully under a lot of pressure. You can see how close he's getting. Another yellow flag. Looks like Kalios has had an off at the last corner this time. Psycho as well into the pits. Oh, and there goes the Ferrari. Great awareness from the Mercedes to avoid collecting Bully as he was spinning around like a Beyblade at the exit of turn 12. Nemo will fly past. Keeper maybe as well. Trying to look around the outside of the Ferrari. The Ferrari fights it though. Keeps his nose in there. But it is a clean pass for Keeper, now up into 13th place. So a couple of cars already a lap down in this one. Kalios and Psycho, as Bully continuing to struggle on those very, very hot soft compound tyres. It's Dalek side by side with Saxa. Runs him out of road. They are both going very slowly, and that's going to mean that Mr. Spicer is going to get both of them here. So the Alpine profits massively, now putting himself up into 9th place as Dalek and Saxa squabble and get tangled up at that first 2 corners. Oh, I think you might have just done it, Ali. No safety car just yet, but yellow flags ahead, and that is Kalios off yet again at the same corner that he crashed in both qualifying and in the first lap of the race. That dreaded turn 5, and that is, well, there you go, you jinxed it, Ali. We have a full safety car for that incident on lap 5 of 29. So, good job, Ali. Really did well there. But a little bit of an update at the front of things. Pepsi and Anacat as Combat Rat gets a speeding ticket, a drive-through penalty from 3rd place. Oh, he'll be kicking himself for that. But meanwhile, unsurprisingly, Pepsi and Anacat both going into the pits. Pepsi, a 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. I knew it was going to be one of them. Kalios saying in the chat he's got bodywork damage. That is really unfortunate. But here we go. Pepsi with his speeding ticket. Psycho might actually be able to unlap himself here, and he has. Very nicely done. As Mr. Spicer stays out on those soft compound tires. And there we go. So you can see Psycho run off into the distance. Pepsi and Anacat both on fresh medium tires. A couple of other drivers to make pit stops as well down the field. We have Mika, we have Bandcamp, Skins, Vassa, Nut, Dalek, Nemo, Bully, Keeper, you name it. They've all pitted, ladies and gentlemen. But all of them have gone for the medium compound tires except for Skins, who has put on the hards. Silly penalties indeed for the those two drivers. And it's still early days in this race. Anything can happen. But a drive-through, which is about 18 to 20 seconds worth as you go through the pit lane at a whopping 60 kilometers an hour. That's 37 miles here at the Albert Park Street Circuit. And then, of course, the 5-second stop-go penalty for Pepsi if he were to make another pit stop. But if not, he will 5 seconds will be added to his race time at the end, which really is put him in a spot of bother here as well. So, full safety car conditions here on lap 6 of 29. If you're just joining us, welcome to Aussie Formula Racing. My name is Mikhail, and I'll be taking you through the Tier 2 race for what I do believe is round number 22 of the season. We started the season all the way back in August of last year, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a wild and long ride. So, Ali keeping count of the safety cars. Tier 3 had 3 full safety cars. Tier 1 did as well as a virtual safety car as well for Tier 1. There we go, Mr. Spicer realizing his mistake, going into the pit lane. Probably just didn't want to double stack with his teammate Nemo for whatever reason. And he will drop all the way down this order back into 15th place as Keeper also makes a pit stop at the end of this lap. Rose, there are 3 tiers in here at Aussie Formula Racing. And this is the middle one. Tier 1 runs before this, and Tier 3 is before that, starting at 5:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, which was good. Let's see if I can get this one 3.5 hours ago. So my conversion to UK is a little rusty nowadays, but yeah, 3.5 hours ago was when racing action all kicked off with the Tier 3 guys, and Ali was in that race. Memory serves me right, Ali, you actually had a pretty good one for once, which is always nice to see. Of course, Ali, a champion himself, ladies and gentlemen in the chat. But you have to go all the way back to Season 4 in Tier 2. 7:30. It's pretty early for a Sunday morning. I think Tier 2 is right at the sweet spot, just after you've had your brekkie. There we go. We should be back underway at the end of next lap. Oh, actually, no, we're getting called in now, as Psycho still hasn't yet caught the back of the queue, but safety car has been called in at the end of this lap, so Apollo Pepsi will slow right the way down. And you can see we'll get the telemetry up, going a whopping 70 kilometers an hour, which is, I think, quite close to the actual speed limit of the roads around Albert Park when the streets are actually open. Maybe a little bit fast, a bit slower than that. But a whopping 60k, 70k's as he goes into the final corner. The safety car is now in the pit lane. This is all up to Pepsi on when he wants to go through the final corner. He's getting nice and easy in the power. A little bit of a slide, but a little bit more of a slide for Combat Right. He's going straight into the pit lane to serve that drive-through penalty. So, we are racing once again here at Albert Park, ladies and gentlemen. Apollo Pepsi leads from Endocat, then Saxa is up into 3rd place after staying out on those medium compound tires. Mika in 4th, Bandcamp 5th, with Skins in 6th. As another yellow flag, Defiant is out at the exit of turn 2. Psycho has been caught up in that calamity as well. What on earth is going on here? This turn 2 claims another 2 victims, but no safety car, even a virtual safety car for that matter. We could ride on board with Combat Rat. We'll try and see exactly where the wreckage is. And oh my goodness, they are both there off the inside, or the left-hand side of the track. Very unfortunate for both of those guys. They become the first 2 retirees for this race. Bully having an off at turn 10 as well. I think, yeah, you're right. You're right, Rose. Combat just made a pit stop. He hasn't yet served that drive for penalty. He'll need to come in once again. All of AlphaTauri's and Alfa Romeo's hopes lie on Saxa and Vassar respectively, as Nut has a little bit of a spin. Oh, and he's clipped the Ferrari! He's clipped Bully because he was coming around turn 13. Picks up a drive-through penalty for that. Probably fair, as they are both spinning off in the open area, as Nut doing a couple of donuts as well. But still, no virtual safety car for that incident. But Nut will need a new change of nose and maybe a new change of underwear as well after that little incident. But a little bit further up the field, have a look at Mika in that Aston Martin. His teammate currently sitting in second, and Pepsi has pulled out. Oh no, Pepsi's out! Pepsi has lost it at the exit of turn 7, and the championship leader, when he could have clinched the title today, is out of this race. A full safety car now being deployed, as the Ferrari really having a bad day of things. And this is really, really good if you're Andocat, or if you're an Aston Martin fan in the chat, or even a Pondon fan. I know Andocat very cemented in that community. But yeah, that is incredible. Absolutely incredible. I cannot believe that Pepsi just absolutely just binned it at the exit of turn 7. And there we go. You see the disconnect as well in the chat.
Evening again, ladies and gentlemen.
And it's Mr. Psycho. Unfortunate. See you out at turn 2. While we have a safety car, why don't you tell us what happened?
So, well, lap 1 got away okay, and then I was on the outside for turn 1. Someone punted me. I went sideways. Someone T-boned me. So I got diffuser damage, floor damage, and that sort of started off the chain of events. Managed to spin around and keep going, and then 2 or 3 laps later, sort of same spot, turn 2. There was carnage in front. Me and Spicer got tangled up with a car spinning, and just my rear wheel did not like the amount of force being applied to it. So it detached itself from my car. Not a great race.
Unfortunate indeed, yeah. Getting caught up with the 2 Haas's and Dalek, who also struggled at the start of this race. But you aren't the only one.
Well,
the championship leader himself, falling victim of turn 7. That is big.
Andocat's going to be enjoying this, and considering we have an AlphaTauri currently in P2, I believe that we need to red flag this race right now. I don't know how you feel, but that's just my personal opinion.
I mean, everyone wins in that.
Yeah, so unfortunate for me, I didn't quite get a result that I wanted, but yeah, that happens.
And especially after that strong qualifying performance that you once again were able to pull off. Been quite the trend for you recently. Just needs to be able to convert it when it comes to the race. So, quick update for those of you at home. We did have a couple of drivers come into the pit lane for this safety car. Both King J and Dalek on fresh medium compound tyres that will easily make it to the end of this race. And yes, Ali, you are indeed correct. Bandcamp is in third at a track that he historically has never done well at. And what a result it would be, of course, in Daniel Ricciardo's car to come home on the podium bit. And actually, interesting facts that I saw when doing some Grand Prix mode practice for this one. There has never been an Australian who has stood on the podium at the Australian Grand Prix.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Ricciardo got close back in, I think it was 2010, 2011. His first year with Red Bull, whenever that was. No, that's a bit later. Still Weber era. 15. He got close. But unfortunately I think he got disqualified for something post-race, technical infringement. So he never was able to reap the rewards there.
That's unfortunate. Well, he'll have another shot this year, so hopefully he can convert that. But yeah, as Ollie points out, Bandcamp doing well. As always, he doesn't qualify very well, but races super consistently. So I expect him to convert this into some good points. If you can manage to keep it clean.
Well, he certainly is very good at doing that. So, update on this order. Andercat and Saxo with Bandcamp rounding out your top three. Mika in the second Aston Martin doing very nicely indeed in fourth. A big opportunity for those guys as they try and pull away from Ferrari in that all-important Constructors' Championship as well that these guys are also fighting for. It's not just the drivers between Pepsi and Ando, it's also between the second drivers, Mika and Bully, as the safety car has now been called in this lap. Mr. Spicer and Kalios also pitting that last lap for a fresh set of mediums, which will comfortably make it to the end of this race. Everyone's on medium tyres except for Skins and Keeper in 5th and 8th respectively. Of course, Saxa yet to pit as well in second place, so all the cards are in Ando's favour. He has a car on older tyres behind him. His championship rival is out of contention, so he just needs to put his head down and do the laps, Psycho.
Yeah, he'll be looking to get a good restart and then hopefully just run away with this race. Would be the goal there. Back off of the grid, not looking so flash. I know a lot of them have damage. Kalios definitely has damage all over his car. Spicer, I know, has a busted diffuser because I shoved my front nose so far up his gearbox, there's no way he doesn't.
Oh, here we go. We are green flag racing once again. Endocat leading it very late. And Saxa all over the back of him, trying to pull to the inside. Has a little bit of a look into turn one, but thinks better of it. Oh, so far, so good as Dalek makes it up past the inside of King J going into turn one for the final points place. Oh, and the Mercedes goes straight into that wall, picking up a lot of front wing damage as well. That was a violent hit. It's gone deep on his teammate now. That's Dalek. Really struggling. Keeper as well with the wing damage. Nemo's falling like a stone. He's at an off at turn 4. And once again, safety car restart brings lots of drama. And all these cars now for that final points places. Very close together. The two Alpines going side by side now through this next sequence of corners. You have Combat Rat tangled up with it as well. And things are getting very messy in this back part of the field. The two Alpines still going at it. Nemo finally yielding to Mr. Spicer going into turns 9 and 10. But a little bit further up, Psycho, we have Dalek and Memphis Rain Skins going side by side. And the Mercedes somehow pulls the move done. He gets it done. Wow.
I honestly think everyone from about 7th down has bodywork damage of some kind, just looking at how they're taking these corners. Yeah. They're going so slowly and just so cautiously.
Keeper continuing to fall with that wing damage. Now 11th place for the Mercedes, but all up in front. Endocat, it's smooth sailing for the Aston Martin. 1.8 seconds ahead of Saxa, but behind Saxa, Bandcamp putting the AlphaTauri under a fair bit of pressure. Mika making a little bit of a mistake at turn 1, going slightly deep, extends that gap to the McLaren. But he's right back in within that 6 to 4/10 range. He just needs to sit pretty, because Saxa still gets a pit, so he's on for a net podium place at the moment. But as we were saying before, and as has been apparent through both of the races, Tier 3 and Tier 1 so far tonight, ladies and gentlemen, it is extremely difficult to make passes on track here.
Yeah, it's tough to do, and to try and get it done, the guys are pushing just a little bit past their comfort zone. And when you do that at a track like Albert Park, the smallest mistake will put you in a wall. Hence the high rate of DNFs we had in Tier 3 and in Tier 2 as Combat Rat gets past Bully.
Combat Rat, nice drive at turn 10. And now Bully's gone deep, and that's going to mean that King J is going to also stay up high. We're just talking about how hard it is to overtake, but apparently,
King J read that so beautifully. He knew Billy was going to run wide, so he cut in really well there. Really, I can't even speak. Perfect driving by King J there.
Yeah, very nicely done indeed as DRS gets re-enabled. Endocat well and truly running away with this now. Psycho 3.3 seconds out in front. He has a 3-second time penalty gap already in his back pocket should he require it. But Saxa still doing a great job in second, holding off Bandcamp, Mika, Vasa, all these guys behind him on fresher medium tires. You can see on screen now the train all the way going all the way back to Dalek in 6th place, who's actually getting very close to the back of Vasa himself. 1.8 tenths, well 1.8 second, 1.8 tenths going through this next sequence of corners through turn 9. 8 going into 9, sorry. Up the inside of 9 goes a Mercedes, and what a move! Such confidence on the brakes.
Absolutely brilliant move by Dalek. He read that well. He knew he had a tyre advantage and he used it to its maximum effect. It's already really hard to overtake here, but to do it in a DRS train is just another level of difficult. So it's good to see these guys actually making some moves and making them cleanly.
Speaking of, you can see the DRS assistance all the way down. Mika getting so close to Bandcamp's diffuser. You can see him almost pushing the McLaren through turn 14. And he gets a little bump from Dalek. From behind Dalek, a little hot on the brakes. Showing he's got a lot of speed and he's very close coming through the final corner, turn 16. Vasa as well, trying to look back on the inside of turn 1. They're having a drag race, the two of them, going down into turn 1. Riding on board now with Vasa in 6th place at the moment. With the DRS assistance now, Bandcamp also might be looking for a move on Saxa. You can see in front, wheel to wheel, those two go. They are still side by side, coming through turn 3, now into turn 4. Bandcamp around the outside with the tyre advantage. Finally gets past the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, Saxa did well to hold on as long as he did. Those tyres are hurting now, and you can see that as he gets followed by Bandcamp. Mika smells blood in the water, and he wants to get past Saxa as well. I don't think he's going to be able to hold him off very long at all.
Well, it isn't just that. Dalek also with a massive lunge up into turn 9. But unfortunately, Mika's still there. Little bumps with the car and the wall for the Mercedes. But Mika...
That's nowhere to go. Oh, onto the grass.
Mika wins out that exchange for the time being.
Yeah, Vasa trying to get past there because them obviously slowed each other up. Really hurt the pace. Coming out of the exit there, Vasa had so much more pace, but just track's not wide enough. It just had nowhere to go, so it just couldn't get past.
That's also allowed the likes of Combat Rat and King J to join the back of this train as Bandcamp starts to stretch his legs a little. 1.1 seconds. It's broken DRS to the AlphaTauri behind, but not through the detection point as that AlphaTauri rear wing still opening up like that letterbox. And, Crofty always likes to remind us, but is it going to be enough? Mika with the overtake around the outside of turn 3 goes the Aston Martin. He got a little bit off track, but Saxa able to just stay in front, and Dalek has to slow in right behind. A great defense from Saxa, keeping the Aston Martin at bay, but there is an angry mob of cars developing behind this AlphaTauri at the moment, and they are all just, they've got so much speed that they just can't use. Look how close all these guys are, Psycho.
Dalek is so close. He keeps bumping Vasa through most of these corners. He's literally pushing this Aston Martin towards that AlphaTauri.
But there's no way through. A great defensive drive so far from Saxa on those aging mediums that are definitely not feeling great. You can see a little bit of a cut there from Vasa, and that's going to open up the door. The opportunity is there for the Alfa Romeo, so it's side by side with Dalek towards the braking zone of turn 13, as Mika as well ahead of him, trying to go around the outside. A little bit of a bump between the Aston Martin and the AlphaTauri. Now into 14, Saxa with that inside line, but look at the grip from the Aston Martin inside the Alpha 15, and I dare say this might be just the move done. We'll see who gets that DRS assistance coming through the final corner. It is going to be the Aston Martin. So Mika now up into a podium place. Now Vasa all over the back of this AlphaTauri, and Saxa is going to be a sitting duck.
Yeah, this is absolutely intense. Makes the move done very nicely. So Combat Rat is actually up here now. Dalek swallows him. Saxa is just getting absolutely mugged.
Made that 1, 2, 3 positions lost as Combat running into the back of the Mercedes of Dalek going into turn 3. You have yellow flags once again. That is the Haas of Kalios once again are off, this time at turn 2. really struggling. Oh, Williams hops over Combat Rat, running a little bit wide at turn 6. And you can just see the Williams caught air there. That was incredible.
Hopefully, didn't get floor damage from that. That definitely ruins your race. I can tell you that from experience.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, once that floor is damaged, you are in for a world of hurt. And speaking of a world of hurt, those tyres on that AlphaTauri can't be feeling great at the moment. King J now all over the back as Mr. Spicer makes a move on Combat Rat. They're going side by side now, right behind them through turns 11 and 12. They both managed to live and tell the tale, but it's now DRS for the Williams around the outside. Mr. Spicer has nothing left in the tank, but he has that inside line. Combat has his nose ahead going into the braking zone of turn 13, but it's the Alpine that prevails for 8th place.
Wow, fantastic driving by both of them. Spicer read that beautifully. Great job by Combat leaving the space. Really good driving. Excellent fighting. Well done.
I agree, Ali. This is some really, really great racing. And there we go. You can see the overspeed from the Mercedes of Daylag now chasing down Vassar as the gaps start to continue to expand. As Saxa finally goes into the pits. Kalios 3 seconds as he's trying to survive. Yellow flags again. That's Kalios out of the session. Just as Daylag is making the move. Is that going to be another safety car? Yes, it is, Psycho.
All right. Well, to be honest, I'm quite okay with that. We need a bit of a break. This is too intense. It's just non-stop action every lap. So much battling. But what's surprising me is how clean it is. These guys are they're driving really well, giving each other the respect, pushing each other really hard. It's awesome to see driving like this.
We need to cue the stars quote now.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Just tier 2 showing tier 1 and tier 3 how it's done.
Only 4 retirements so far. I think watching those 2 races beforehand have just proven how dangerous this track is. And it's supposed to go even faster next time in the next game if, of course, Codemasters implement the real-life alterations. That 910 chicane completely cut and gone, which makes it
it's already such a fast track. I think that will, as far as street circuits go, doesn't that push it up to pretty much be one of the fastest, with Jeddah being the only exception?
Oh yeah, it depends, but it doesn't depend. Well, talking about pit strategies for a brief moment, it's going to be a very busy pit lane.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I imagine everyone will be in the pits on fresh softs.
Oh yeah.
Saxa will hopefully win out a little bit here because he's just pit the lap before. Hopefully that didn't hurt him too much. He'd be kicking himself for not waiting an extra lap.
Yep, lots of action in the pit lane. Bandcap's put on a fresh set of mediums.
Oh, he made a mistake there, I think.
That is bold.
Saxa coming through from 13th up into... Can he get Spicer? No. Oh, don't be
side
naughty.
by side. No, I think Spicer's got that.
Yeah, Spicer had that. I just thought Saxa might try and be naughty there.
Well, they both keep it out of each other, which is the first step.
Yeah.
Don't want an unnecessary 5-second time penalty at this stage of the race.
Absolutely not. Considering how clean the grid is, Bully the only one with the standing penalty right now.
Because everyone else who got penalties has unfortunately crashed out before they could serve them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Band, I believe, would be furious with himself right now if you could see the tyre selection from everyone else.
So we could be looking at an Aston Martin 1-2 at the moment.
Looking at Band's tyre strategy, I'd say that's a very high possibility, which is great for Aston Martin, terrible for AlphaTauri.
It's also terrible for Ferrari in Tier 2 because, I mean, Bully's sitting there in 10th, but he has a time penalty at the moment. How many safety cars have there been now? This is the second full safety car.
Second full safety car, yeah. There was also, I believe there was one VSC. I might be wrong though, but I don't think I am. Regardless, there is still...
This is the third full safety car.
Third, okay.
I think it's the third one. So we had one for Kalios spinning it at turn 5. We had one for Pepsi at turn 8. And then Kalios at turn 12.
Yes, okay.
So, Ali, I know you're keeping count. It's right up there. That's par for the course. But yeah, we are looking at a potentially a very strong result for Aston Martin. This would be
Yeah,
huge for them.
they will be happy with that, absolutely. Mika as well, not having the best showing recently, so it'd be good for him to get up on that podium again. If he can manage to stay where he is. Same with the likes of Spicer, he's had a rough run recently, so good to see him up there in the points at this stage of the race.
A quick update on your order as things stand right now. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen, we have Andocat, Bandcamp, and Miki, your top 3 at the moment, with Dalek, Vassar, and King J 4, 5, and 6. Mr. Spicer for Alpine in 7th, Saxer for AlphaTauri in 8th, Combat at 9th, and Bully rounds out the top 10 at the moment, but he has a time penalty, as does Skins in 13th, both of them with 3-second time penalties. So in terms of net positions, Nut is in that top 10 at the moment.
Yeah, just looking at positions change as well, Bandcamp has made up 9 positions this race. It's very impressive.
Saxer up 8 as well, Bully up 7, Vassar up 7. Biggest loser, of course, aside from those who have crashed out, has been Skins down 7 and with a time penalty. But we're about to go racing again, Psycho. Safety car's been called in. Andocat slowing the field down, trying to get some temperature into those tyres and trying to see what he can do to solidify the 25, potentially 26 points on offer here at Albert Park. And that would really bring him so close to Apollo Pepsi. That would make the gap, I believe, just quickly in my head, about 18 points going into Shanghai next week.
Yeah, he'd be keen to lock that down, get that fastest lap, and also the win. He definitely needs it. And he's got a good buffer, I believe, because Ben doesn't have the opportunity to really catch
Oh,
up.
here we go. It's now. Oh, Mr. Spicer. He's gotten a 5-second time penalty, but Mika up the inside of turn 1 on Bandcamp. Oh my goodness, he has to take to the grass, and that's the Aston Martin falling. He's almost lost his ground. The commentator's curse, the Aston Martin spinning off, picking up so much dirt and dust. He's now down to 14th place. Oh, we're so sorry, Mika. That is absolutely devastating for the Aston Martin, but cleanly for Andocat, he is away 1.1 seconds or so, and that gap is going to continue to grow as Bandcamp is going to be so much slower at this stage on those medium compound tyres.
Yeah, Mika just forgetting the fact that his tyres are cold at the restart, pushed a little too hard to get past Bandcamp and just overreached. That's very unfortunate for him. I wonder what happened to Spicer. That's going to hurt him. That 5 seconds could ruin his race.
Maybe a slight bit of contact on the restart. Maybe we'll get investigated by the stewards afterwards. But 1.4 seconds, that gap is continuing to grow. And Vassar, right on the back of Dalek as Dalek is hunting down a dragon.
Yeah, there's no way Ben keeps this position. Those tyres are just not up to scratch compared to the softs, especially not with how many laps we have left. He's going to have to defend for his life.
Yeah, remember back in qualifying, ladies and gentlemen, if you were with us there, the delta between these two tyre compounds when both fresh is about 1.1 seconds. Andocat, fastest lap, 125.1. And I dare say that is going to take quite some effort to beat.
Yep, that's for sure. It's not looking pretty for anyone that's not Ando at the moment. Bandcamp doing a fantastic job making that McLaren as wide as he possibly can.
Of course, one of the most experienced drivers on this grid. Been here since day one because he started the thing. But his teammate Nut actually showing quite a bit of pace. He's closing up to the back of Bully, who's struggling to keep up with Combat Rat at the moment. Speaking of Combat, he might even go for a dive. He is going to go for a dive. Up the inside of turn 9. Can't quite make the move stick. But Dalek, Bandcamp, drag race into turn 11. We've seen this before, Psycho. How's things end this time around? The two Mercedes-powered cars going side by side. And Dalek finds some way to make it past now. Yellow flags. That's Combat Rat off at turn 12. Bandcamp going to defensive towards Vassar. Vassar looking for a switchback going through turn 13. Has the inside line, but has to slot back behind the McLaren.
Nerves of steel by those drivers to do that through turn 11, 12. Absolute nerves of steel. Fantastic job doing that cleanly.
But with all that battling, that has meant that Mr. Spicer has been able to catch back up as a 23.9 for Andocat. As Keeper now losing it at turn 15. Bandcamp defensive once again on the Alfa Romeo. DRS not quite enabled just yet. Vassar getting a little bit out of shape though, coming out of turn 2. Isn't going to be able to have the overspeed to make the move this time. Or will he have the grip though? Around the outside of turn 3. Look at the subs. They're just working to absolute perfection at the moment. But Bandcamp, Gigaband, as Ali has just put in the chat, it's certainly looking like it at the moment, Psycho.
Gigaband. Gotta love it. Nice, nice. Yeah, the Dragon is under a bit of pressure here, but he is swinging his tail around and it is working for him so far. Manages to still maintain that podium position. Vassar is trying everything he can to try and get past him. ERS is running low on band as well, so he's going to have to just keep an eye on that. Try and make sure that he doesn't overexert himself this early in the race.
Nemo, unfortunately, having a moment at turn 7 and 8. As I've just lost connection to Steam. So that's incredible. So apology about that, ladies and gentlemen. We'll try and get back into the session as quickly as possible.
Well, we'll have a bit of a radio show until we can get that